Hello, my name is Jacqueline Baxter. Today I'm going to be talking to Frederick Six, who is Professor of Public Governance and author of Chapter 3 of our book, Trust-Based Accountability in Education, the Role of Intrinsic Motivation. So welcome, Frederick. Can you start off by just telling us a little bit about the chapter and what it involves?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for inviting me, Jacqueline. In this chapter, I argue that schools and education systems can motivate teachers to be or become more effective when accountability systems and trust reinforce each other. And this happens when teachers experience a work context that enables them to do their work better, when the context supports them in their basic psychological needs. And there are three basic psychological needs: the need for autonomy, which is about feeling that you have a choice in how you do your work rather than have everything imposed upon you. It's about the competence, the need for competence, both to feel recognized in the competence that you have and be supported in developing further your competencies, and also the need for self-esteem, to have positive feelings about the work you're doing and how you're doing it. Third basic psychological need is about relatedness, which is about meaningful social relationships with the people you work with. And those are first and foremost usually the colleagues. Do you support each other in the tough cases that you face? But also leaders, managers, and other people involved in the accountability system. Do you feel trusted and respected by these people who are in your work context? And what is that you could also think about? Does the leader truly understand the perspective of the teacher's situation and their needs and interests? So that's the basic psychological needs. And when teachers feel supported in their basic psychological needs, then they will be more intrinsically motivated to do their work. And they will want to do their work well because they truly enjoy helping children develop themselves, or because they feel an inner drive based on their passion and professional values. And they will not be motivated by extrinsic incentives like punishment or a bad reputation or monetary, performance-based bonuses or something. That is extrinsic motivation. You want to strengthen and support the intrinsic motivation of teachers.
Okay, thank you. And how does accountability kind of fit into the picture here, Frederick?
Yes, well, when teachers are intrinsically motivated, that leads to higher performance and higher well-being, and that's been shown again and again. Now, first of all, higher performance and teachers, feeling better within themselves will lead leaders to be able to trust them more, to give them more autonomy, and the relatedness, the meaningful relationship with leaders will be better. So just that element will mean that the trust element has a positive influence on the work context. But accountability systems are also very important part of the accountability system. Accountability systems are an important part of the work context. And when the accountability systems are also experienced by teachers as supporting them in their psychological needs, then that will help and strengthen their intrinsic motivation. So the account, and that means, for example, in the sense of autonomy, how can accountability systems support autonomy? Can teachers influence how they give account to higher system levels, or is it imposed upon them? How are the results that are reported? The indicators, the sterile numbers, how are they reported? Is it just the sterile numbers, or is there room for teachers to add a narrative and to give background and context to how they see their performance? In terms of competence, accountability systems give feedback to the back to the teachers. How is that perceived and structured? Is it perceived as supportive of their need for continuous learning and improving themselves, further professionalizing themselves, or is it seen as just looking at where have you gone wrong and what needs to be improved? So which doesn't motivate as much. And finally, in terms of relatedness, do the people who execute the accountability system, who are a part of the accountability system, and part of that are the direct supervisors, but also some people like inspectorates come into a school. How do they behave? How do they build a meaningful relationship with teachers? Do they show trust and respect, or more distrust, disrespect? Do they make an effort to understand the perspective of the teachers, or do they not care and remain very distant? So that's how you can sort of, using those psychological needs, fill in what an accountability system could look like to be seen and experienced by teachers as supportive, and therefore leading to more intrinsic motivation.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how the relationship between trust and control plays out there in this kind of dynamic.
Well, in the trust literature, there's a lot of attention to trust and control. And the dominant perspective on the relationship between trust and control is that they're seen as substitutes. When you trust, you don't do anything. But when you start monitoring, when you say you trust and then you start monitoring or controlling, then that's often experienced but then you don't trust, because monitoring and control is sort of the deeply held beliefs attached to those concepts, is that you do that based on distrust. And then there's substitutes. So the more of one means less of the other. And in this book, we talk about accountability, which is in essence very much the same as this general concept of control. And luckily, there's also research that shows that it is possible to have both trust and control. They can be complementary. They can strengthen each other. And using that self-determination theory, which focuses on intrinsic motivation, you can find the conditions that you need to meet to have both trust and control strengthening each other. And because the people still continue to think about we need the right balance between trust and control, I often get a question, how much control can there be? And that's the wrong question. If you look at this theory, it's not how much control there is, but it is how are the controls, how is the accountability system experienced by those controlled, i.e. in this case, the teachers. Teachers experience the accountability system. Does it support them in doing their work and being intrinsically motivated to do their work as best they can? And whereas if you look at how most people think about control systems, it's the controller, the person who controls, who designs it and implements it, imposes it. And so it's crucial to understand that you need this change of perspective.
Okay, well, thank you very much.